Hi, this is David Stein of Money for the Rest of Us.
And I'm Bret Stein at Money for the Rest of Us. And today we're going to talk about 5 reasons that passive income really isn't all that passive, but why that's a good thing. Since entering the personal finance field, I've been really interested by articles and videos about passive income and side hustles. And it's because they've always sort of bothered me. I've read through a lot of them, and they always seem to either have ideas that really aren't a passive income, or there's so much work that the normal average person and how they view passive income isn't going to do them. But we want to talk about why there are still reasons that these ideas can be worthwhile, but how not necessarily thinking about them as passive can help us obtain them.
Okay, so we have 5 things that we want to discuss. And the first point is truly passive income is a race to the bottom. If something's passive, it means more and more people can do it. And as there's more competition, as there's more people willing to produce the supposedly passive idea, that pushes prices down. And then you're effectively earning very, very little in what is supposedly a passive approach.
And one example of this is stock photography. Stock photography often comes up on these lists and videos or from photographers saying, like, this is a way to make passive income. Well, 12 years ago, when there was less competition, maybe it was. But today, it's such a massive race to the bottom that it can be hard, if not impossible, to make any money. I'm a photographer, and I've submitted to these stock photography websites. And I don't have the ongoing desire to always be putting more and more photos because it's not passive. I've never earned a dime. And so many photos anymore are just given away for free. And that's where most people get their photos. It's a race to the bottom and not truly a worthwhile passive investment.
So if the truly passive income opportunities pay so little, what we really want to do is the second point is not to confuse passive income with scalable income. For the past 7 years, I've run Money for the Rest of Us. So we have a podcast, we have a membership community, and yeah, sometimes people hire us in the middle of the night. They might join our membership site, and as a result, that seems passive. But really, it's scalable. We've done the work, we have produced content, we've gotten better at it, and many, many people then can hire us, but we're not having to customize the specific project for that person. And so it's very scalable, and it seems passive.
Another example of this that you often see within the passive income articles is niche websites. And I own a niche website, and I'll tell you what, it's a ton of work. And a lot of people will tell you it's a ton of work, but to this day, the amount of work that I've put into my niche site and the income that I've come back from it, and I have an article that's at the top of Google, I make money from it, I have not earned back my time on it yet. And the people that are making 6 figures in the niche field are the people that have 500 articles and they're writing hours every day, or they're hiring people for $100 an article to write every day. Not to mention the upkeep, because within niche websites and Google and SEO, there's constant updates that need to be made on this. So there's a lot of upfront work, and yes, it comes back passively, but there's ongoing maintenance, and there's so much work up front that to earn your hourly wage back takes a significant amount of time.
That makes sense. So we want to focus on something scalable rather than passive. And the way to do that is to iterate in order to build an attention and trust asset. And what do we mean by that? Well, I started Money for the Rest of Us back in 2014. I produced podcasts week after week. I've done it for 7 years. Most of the content is free. But over time, people have resonated with it. And because of that, they've told me things that they would like to see. They provide topic suggestions and products or services that they would like, which we've then created. And so that iterative process is really, really important. What you sometimes see in the online space is people spend so much time trying to figure out, well, which microphone should I use? What text should I use? What should my logo be? And sometimes this becomes sort of an excuse to actually sit down and do the work and ship the work and get feedback, because that's hard, because you can get criticism and it might not resonate with people right away. But doing it over and over again, showing up and providing that content, most of it for free, some of it will resonate, people will pay you, And perhaps you'll even get large enough that you can get some advertising revenue. But it's the showing up and doing it consistently, which most people are unwilling to do. And that is what will allow it to be scalable and for people to trust you.
And this is important also with some of these other passive ideas is they require a following and trust, whether it be a blog or a book. And David, you have a book, you have a large audience, and while your book has sold well comparative to other books, first off, we spent months and years writing that book, but second, you haven't earned a ton of money off of it. It's published with a major publisher, but it's not a whole income for you. It's a very small side portion of what you've done.
No, writing books is a terrible way to make money. You don't write books to make money. You write books to curate your content. All this free stuff I provided over time. The beauty of a book is it's more permanent. So I could take this work and create something permanent, do our best work, and then share with somebody as a gift. And yeah, it's not a moneymaker, but it comes from having earned some trust over time and then producing something really as a gift to my audience. And that's why you write a book, because you want to curate and do some permanent work that comes out of the consistent free work that you're doing all the time to earn those trust assets. Fourth, then, is consider the luck factor. Bret, what does this mean?
It means that in success, luck plays a role. There's a wonderful book called Universal Laws of Success. We'll link an affiliate link down in the description to earn that passive income. And it discusses in there that part of success mathematically is luck. You don't know if you're going to make it. You don't know if your Instagram account is going to be featured on the top of the tag page. You don't know if Udemy is going to choose your course as the best course to recommend to people. And you have an experience with that, David.
Yeah, so about 6 months after we launched Money for the Rest of Us, I decided, well, I'll just do an investment course. And so I filmed the video, I put it all together, I put it out on Udemy, thinking that Udemy would recommend this investment course to all the people that wanted to learn about investing. I don't think I've earned even $100 on that course because Udemy didn't choose me. Instead, I reworked the course, I launched the membership community, I taught those same principles, and over many years, I now have over 1,200 people that pay to learn those investment principles. But these are people that engage with my free content first. So we don't want to wait around for an algorithm to choose us. We want to continually produce content so that we can grow an audience over time, a minimal viable audience, and we'll earn income that way. But very, very few people become super, super successful. And there'll always be somebody that is that successful because the algorithm picked them. But we can be successful in earning income by doing the work, earning trust over time, that we don't have to depend on luck. And then if luck happens to choose us, we'll have all of this free content. We've seen YouTube videos in the past that have gone viral, but the person only had one video. And so having done a lot of content over time, if you happen to get chosen, then they'll be able to engage with all of your work, and that will lead to additional income. Finally, then, the fifth point is passive investment income is sort of passive. If you actually build a business that's earning money, eventually you'll have some excess that you can invest. And there are some passive ways to invest. There's index funds, there's dividend stocks, but many investments aren't passive. Real estate takes a lot of work. If you own a rental property, and people that actually own it recognize that, no, this is not passive. Yeah, the rent that comes in each month seems passive, but there's a lot of work that is involved in that. But investing, like anything, has some passive component, but it also has some work component. And very, very few people have gotten rich actually investing. They've gotten rich doing the other things that we've talked about to build a business, and then they have income that they can invest and earn somewhat passively in terms of collecting dividends, interest, and other income streams.
Absolutely. And while you certainly can take those dividends and apply them to your life, that's what people in the financial independence community do. You have to have a significant amount invested to have that become worthwhile. And for most of us, just reinvesting that money that we get from dividends or other investments is going to be the better option at this stage instead of taking it and spending it now.
That's right. So let's go through our 5 points real quick. First, truly passive income is a race to the bottom. We don't want to participate in things where it's too easy. We want to do the work so that we'll get rewarded. And the way to do that is not to confuse passive income with scalable income. We want to create projects or businesses where many people can find it over time and hire us, as opposed to doing something custom for each individual person. Now, that's a viable way to do it. Trade your time for money, and many people love to do that. But if we're talking something that seems more passive, it needs to be scalable. Third, then, is to iterate, to build an attention and trust asset. Actually ship something and get feedback so that you can make it better over time, and eventually you'll build an audience and they'll tell you what they want and they'll pay you to provide something of value.
The fourth one is to consider the luck factor. We need to know what we have under our control and what is luck, and spend our time focusing on those things that we can control so we're not at the mercy of algorithms or pure luck to find success within our businesses.
And finally, passive investment income is sort of passive. Once we've been successful, we have some additional income. There are ways that we can invest in collecting dividends and interest. That seems passive because we're not having to actually earn each of those things, but instead we just receive that income based on how we invest. Now, there are other ways that take a lot more work to invest, such as owning rental real estate, but investing is something we do after we have other income streams in order to grow our wealth.
So those are our 5 reasons of why passive income often isn't all that passive, but why that's a good thing, and how you can use those tips to be able to take control of your businesses or your activities to be able to build scalable businesses that feel passive at times. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. We'd be happy to answer. Please like the video, subscribe, check us out on Twitter, or go to moneyfortherestofus.com. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.